You know, they say good things come to those who wait. And I'm hoping that's ringing true because this wait from week 7 to week 8 has felt like an eternity. We saw the Chiefs looked unstoppable against the Raiders, but how are they going to look against a much tougher Washington Commanders squad? Well, welcome in Chiefs Kingdom to Chiefs Latest. This is your one stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Welcome in. Happy Friday. We finally made it to the weekend. But as I mentioned, we got to wait all the way till Monday until we can see the Chiefs take the field. But we're going to have some fun on this podcast in the meantime. But before we do, you guys know the drill, and you guys now know the goal. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of December, and it's very doable, especially with your guys' help. It just takes 5 seconds. If you guys can go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Chiefs Latest Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding this Kansas City Chiefs team, so please help us reach that 1,000 subscriber goal. Go ahead, hit that button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs dodged a bullet ahead of this Commanders clash. Out of Kansas City, Andy Reid has some positive news, more on the offensive front regarding both Trey Smith and Josh Simmons. We're going to start with Trey Smith here and his back spasms. Andy Reid went on to say, quote, that they are nothing serious. He even went on to say it's getting better and we'll just see how it goes. But that still makes his status unclear. They haven't ruled that he's going to play Monday, but I like to think that he's trending in that direction. I don't think he's going to sit out. But the major win here, or the initial win here, is the fact that he avoided anything serious. And you want that for your pocket protector. You want that for someone who has been keeping Mahomes upright. Not only that, you're paying the man 4 years, $94 million, $70 million guaranteed. The Chiefs trusted his body of work. You want that out there, but again, you want to balance it. You don't want this to turn into anything serious. Whether you like PFF grades or not, we're going to label them here for you. 71.5 overall grade. That's ranked 13th out of 82 guards. His pass blocking, 81.2. That's 4th. He's only allowed 2 quarterback hits and 0 sacks so far this season. Now, yes, his run blocking has dipped, but that's mostly due to the pass-heavy schemes that the Chiefs like to run, or the fact that they pass more on crucial downs. But if Trey Smith can't go, then DJ Caliendo is going to step in. And he played well in the last game. He held his own. Now let's go ahead and talk about Josh Simmons here real quickly, because as a fan base, we were left in the dark. Yes, we don't deserve to know all the details, but I think when it's a franchise player, franchise left tackle who was selected in the first round, I think the fans are allowed some information, and we finally got that. Andy Reid said, quote, everything's positive, he's taking care of family, unquote. We know that he missed 2 games, the previous 2 games, to what was then labeled as personal matters. We now know it is family. But the fact that Reid was allowed to go out and say this now, I think that ends any negative speculation. It puts some rumors to rest, and I think the team can now focus more on the upcoming games. But the fact that Andy Reid was able to say anything at all is huge for Chiefs Kingdom and huge for the team. So my take here is Trey Smith's health is key for Patrick Mahomes in this offense. You want him out there, but you don't want this to turn into anything more serious. And the fact that we got some positive update on Simmons should calm some fans' nerves. All right, let's go ahead and switch to our next topic here. Nothing to lose, right? If we add Christian Wilkins, well, let's talk about it. We know that Omar Norman Law injury leaves this D-line thin, absolutely thin. Not a lot of names, not a lot of game changers when you look at the roster here. And now that leaves fans taking a free agent route, maybe speaking out of craziness here. And they want to push for free agent Christian Wilkins. Well, Wilkins at 29 shares agents with Charles Omenihu. So, hey, there is a connection there. Maybe Omenihu could put in a word. It's easier for Wilkins to contact the Chiefs, etc., etc. But there comes a lot of baggage with this. First off, Wilkins was cut by the Raiders after a foot injury. They wanted him to get further surgery. He didn't want to get that further surgery. And then you add in some teammate drama. But he's had a noteworthy career. 372 tackles, 56 quarterback hits, 45 tackles for loss, 22 and a half sacks, 19 pass deflections in 86 games. And in those 86 games, he's had 82 starts. But again, that foot, health concerns, off-field baggage with teammates, it raises red flags. And not only that, why hasn't someone else picked him up by now if he's that good, or if he's that healthy, or if he isn't that much of a distraction? Maybe teams are worried to take the risk, but at some point, I think a team would have, especially a struggling team or a team that's right there on the verge of making a push for the playoffs this season. Again, it raises red flags that no one's picked him up. I don't know truly how well his foot has healed. I wouldn't touch this one. In fact, you have someone like Sebastian Joseph, Shelby Harris, Calais Campbell. They're better options, and they only are going to cost you a late day 3 pick. Wilkins' run stopping, pass rush skills, yes, it fits this Chiefs team, but injury, drama, it outweighs the upside. So I'm going to have to say pass on Wilkins here. I think this is a crazy idea that the fans have dreamed up. I think the Chiefs need more reliable depth, not risky distractions. Not someone, I don't even know how his foot is. I can't find any information on it. That all right there is too many red flags, and I think we have to go ahead and pass. Well, here's another crazy idea that has popped up within the rumor mill. New York Jets Quinnen Williams. That's right, who's stuck in this 0-7 season with the Jets. He is rumored, that's right, rumored, to be on the trade block for the Jets. In his career, 199 solo tackles, 122 assists, 40 sacks, 139 pressures, 3 straight Pro Bowls. This season, 17 solo tackles, 14 assists, and a sack. He's an elite run stopper. He's an elite pocket wrecker. He's posting these numbers even with the Jets' struggles. It just shows that he's a very consistent option for you. The trade cost, though, it's going to be too much. I'm already going to have to shut this down. Don't get too excited here, Chiefs Kingdom, because look at this. It's likely going to be a first-round pick for the Chiefs because we always pick at the bottom of the draft. $96 million deal. It's a cap killer, especially with our $3.5 million space. Even if you were to restructure, you would have to do a lot of magic here. But the D would benefit from it if you could somehow bring him in. Of course, we are 12th in our run defense at 109.1 yards per game. We're tied 14th in sacks, and we need some 3-tech help. We talked about it in yesterday's episode. He fits this defense, transforms the D-line, in fact, but cost, the cap hit, it just doesn't match Brett Veach's rental strategy. He loves going with the more rental options, the guys on expiring contracts, someone that's not going to cost a lot to come and just save the season, and then you use the draft to fill that spot later on. So again, it's too pricey. Veach is going to chase veterans like Calais Campbell. He's not going to go after the cap-busting stars. At least, I don't think he will. Of course, if he does, hey, I'd rather be proved wrong in this situation. All right, let's go ahead and look at some of our viewers' comments. Again, if you guys leave comments on previous videos, I'm going to try to start incorporating them in live videos and talk about them when I can. Well, we're going to start with @dogmom88, who said, with Worthy questionable with a lingering shoulder injury, I wouldn't trade any receivers. And then @Michael Marine said, we can't afford to mess with this wide receiver room. Worthy can injure that shoulder again. Well, they are referring to yesterday's episode when we brought up the idea of potentially trading Hollywood Brown away. And I have to agree with Dog Mom and Michael Marines here. I think Hollywood Brown should stay with the Chiefs. His speed, it opened up the offense last game, especially with Rashee Rice back. 9 receivers targeted from Mahomes. 7 of those receivers had 25-plus yards in the game. Brown, he was the most targeted wide receiver in the first half of the season. Him and Mahomes do have a connection, and that connection was working. Yes, he kind of faltered off in the last game, but again, that's because Mahomes was able to spread the ball around. And that was a weird game as well. You're not going to face the Raiders every week, so things aren't going to be that open. But the fact that Hollywood Brown's inclusion with Rice and Worthy, it does make defenses focus on that trio, and it's going to open up other things. Again, Worthy's shoulder, his ankle soreness, we knew that was going to be a concern. More his shoulder, the ankle's kind of new, but more his shoulder, we knew that was going to be at least a nagging injury all season, especially with how fast he came back. And he's been that deep threat so far. 13.3 average depth of target. It's huge for this deep game that the Chiefs are bringing back into their offense. Yes, trading Hollywood Brown saves cap. I get that. It's not the worst idea in the world, but Juju Smith-Schuster game, his possession game, it's less dynamic than what Hollywood Brown brings with his speed and separation, especially in the short to intermediate routes. So I would keep Brown, especially if he has a good game on Monday. Yes, I get the potential of the trade, but I'd rather see someone like Christian Fulton go before I would let Hollywood Brown go in a trade. We can't start getting greedy here. What do we always talk about? It seems like at this point in the season that we need to trade for a wide receiver, that we need to try to bring in a wide receiver, that we are so cursed, that we are so down in our wide receiver depth. Well, now that the fact that we have depth there and the fact that we have playmakers, why should we get greedy? Why should we try to trade that away? Let's keep what we have. Let's play the season out, and then you can reassess someone like Hollywood Brown at the end of the season. Well, that is all that I have for you guys on this Friday. I hope everyone has a fun and safe weekend planned ahead. If you haven't already, again, please, let's get to that 1,000 subscriber goal by the end of December. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And let me know in the comments what you think about those two potential trades. Again, I don't think either one is going to fit the Chiefs, but hey, I would love to hear your guys' opinion. I am your host, Calvin Silvers. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And until next time, have a good one.